The following is a special presentation of the PDF Sports Network.
Hey, what's going on, people? Let's see it. Big time. Public group. Let's see if I'm on. It appears as though I'm on. Yes, indeed. Backyard vibes. It appears as though I'm on. All right. Yes, indeed. Backyard vibe. Cool. So we're on. That works. Sharing it. Saying good morning to everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have some action. Cecilia Louise is saying good morning. Everybody say good morning to Cecilia.
You said say good morning.
I did say good
Say good morning.
So tap everybody in. Players Lounge. Shade Room. Bum. Tribal National, okay. Football group for New York. Bleezy is in. National Players Association in. New York Football Appreciation. Got that. Everybody's tapped in, looks like.
Mom could see you doing the push-ups.
You try to start some stuff, okay.
To the ring.
I dig it. That's in the AFL. What's up? Midwest. What's up? Big East. And of course, to the champs, Connecticut Falcons, the champs. Somebody was saying that I picked against y'all. Well, I technically did, but I will explain. Apparently, you guys don't know how spreads work because I was one amazing Malik Williamson play away from winning that. Just putting that out there because the spread was 2.5, and because of a 2-point return for a touchdown, it went from a 2-point win to a 4-point win, and it took that was a bad beat on the spread there. But I had it right there. Come on now. So I'm tapping everybody in, and before we get started, free agency, spreads. There's a lot of groups. I say this every week. I'm definitely going to have to figure out which ones are active and which ones are not, because I might be sharing in rooms that are no longer active. Whatever. AFA, cool. All right. Back to it, shall we? All right. And with that, let me check the comments. Oh, I got a cord going through. Look at me. I'm all types of raggedy today. What up? All right. Cool. Now, before we get started, I'm going to have Anthony. Come on. Yes, it is. It's way too early with Pat. Top of the morning. What up? That's morning to say. Good morning. All right, on this side, sir. So, for those that don't know, this is a wild outfit that you have on, by the way.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, explain to the people what we're doing today. What you're making me do today.
So we made a bet, and if I stay to 2 games, one soccer game, one baseball game, then he had to do 25 push-ups. If I stayed awake, and I stayed awake, so I got to do 25 push-ups.
Yeah, so Hansh, who is probably sleeping right now, big shout out to him. If you ever get a chance when he offers guys tickets to games and such, make sure you, if you have the time, check it out, because he gives you some great seats and at great prices. Awesome dude, of course. So the other day we're going to the MLS game at Yankee Stadium. So we went to the NYCFC game at Yankee Stadium. It was a really cool time. And then Hans said that he had tickets to the Mets game over at Citi Field. So I said, well,
We just want to see your push-ups. Boost Stories push-ups. Come on.
Just do it. Just do it.
And then you're a troll too. So anyway, I told Hans, like, I'm going to sit here and buy tickets and then end up, you know, him falling asleep. He said, I'm not going to fall asleep. So Hans bet me with the 25 push-ups that him and Anthony had to do 25 push-ups. So I'm going to do my 25 push-ups because he stayed. Yeah, he was trying to get me to do 100. But
no, I said me.
yeah, he was trying to get me to do 100. But it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and pay up and do my push-ups. You see my legs recovering from my incident. So, yeah, Anthony, you count it out.
Start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Oh, man. So I paid my bets. Oh, man. That's rough. Sheesh. Okay, so now I can have my show back. Appreciate it. My shore is crazy. Okay. Yeah, so I paid my bets. Big shout out to Hans for the tickets. So, jeez, I'm out of breath already. Okay. What up, what? Yeah. Push-ups and sit-ups. Like at the time. No, you have to count CJ. Come on, dude. Cut me a break. He was critiquing my push-ups. 0 zeros. A little lower is wild. So what do we got? We had football. We had a lot of good football. Let's talk about it, shall we? So I have the board up. Let's go first. Actually, first let's go to the chip, shall we? There we go. So first we're going to the chip, the ECFL championship, the Connecticut Falcons, champions of the ECFL. So as you saw in this one, it was a 2.5 point spread. And then, I hope I have the right one. Boop. As the Cardinals were going for the tying 2-point conversion, this happens. Let me put Tez. Big shout out to Tez TV.
Junior Brown back to pass. It's broken up, intercepted by who else? Malik Williamson. I told you he's from Germany. Let's do this. 40, Fiertzig, Dreinzig, Schwanzig, Fiertzig, 15, Fiertzig, Dreinzig, 11, 12, 11, 7, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3.
I know what he was saying, but that was an awesome call, by the way. Great job, Tez. Oh, sorry. Next thing there. Sorry. Nonetheless, some more action from the ECFL championship game. Again, that was the walk-off, which was dope. But Malik Williamson had himself a day. ECFL MVP.
An open man, and it's caught for a touchdown. Malik Williamson. Malik Williamson from David Donahue, 37 yards.
That boy could play some football. So let's take a look at this thing right now. So yesterday you saw we had our Bleezy playoff picks. So as you see at the bottom there, the Connecticut Falcons, that was the correct pick. Only because, by the way, because of the 2-point return for 2 at the end of the game. If he just took a knee, the thing is over. And I win. So does that look like a bad pick? Oh, it's an X next to it, so I guess it's a bad pick. And yeah, I think we all had, most of us had the over. Shout out Steph Lovett, he had the under. But again, you see how that laid out. Overall, we kind of locked this thing up. Hanch had 5 correct out of the possible 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Out of possible 10, he had 5 correct. So did I, and so did Ramsey. And of course, Steph won behind at 4. So we have to continue with this into next week. I'm trying to win this thing. So Crusaders and Wolfpack. Wolfpack with a 5.5-point favorite. They covered that. And the under, no, it was the over that hit. Crusaders, Wolfpack scored a lot of points considering the teams and what they usually do. Dolphins and Kingston Lions. Kingston Lions pulled away from the Dolphins. They definitely covered the spread. And that was an under as well. And TC Owls and Militia. So NAFL had two great semifinal games. You talk about really awesome action. This has been a great season. And the fact that we are talking about games other than the number one team, the championship game, we're actually getting excited about all these other games is an awesome, is absolute blessing for the culture of semi-pro football as a whole. So everybody's having a good time, not just a few, which is dope. And in those semifinals, the Owls damn near pulled off the upset. It was 28-26, so the over hit on that one, and the Militia did not cover. Me and Hunch had the Owls in that one. We knew that the Owls were a surging team. Speaking of surging teams, one of the hottest teams in the region, the Unit, advanced to the championship game. However, the Wolfpack did not go out without a fight, and the Wolfpack ended up coming so close that the Unit did not cover. The overhit on that one as well. So let's talk about it really quickly. Oh, let's go to this one. Demon Knights versus the Crusaders. One of the highlights for that game. Oof. Some tough running there. Oh, good, some good stuff there. All right. So in the Big East playoffs, as we said, we reseed, so the top seeds advanced. So the Green Wave will take on the Kingston Lions this week, and the Wolfpack advanced to head on up to New England to play the Golden Lions, which should be a goodie. I'll give you the spreads on that one in a second. So that was pretty dope. Oh, this is pretty interesting too. Again, from the Falcons ECFL championship win.
No whistle. Is the ball live? Oswald Santana Washington recovers it. He's got open room down the sideline. Maz Santana Washington is going to return this for 2 points the other way, making the score 6-2.
I've seen this once before, where a team has returned 2 2-point conversions of the other team back the opposite way, and the Falcons scored on the conversion twice. Now I keep on saying how important the conversions are, right? Very important. Special teams and 2-point conversions, very important. And this is exactly why. There was a 4-point difference, and the Cardinals gave up 2 2-point conversions going the opposite way after they scored. So they were up, they scored first, 6-0, and then instead of just, laying down for the extra point, just letting them kick and stand there like a bunch of doofuses, the Falcons went out there and played football, returned it, and now it went from a 6-0 or possibly 7-0 game to a 6-2 game within striking distance. They added another one with Malik Williamson's interception return for a touchdown. That's a 4-point margin right there. So again, very rarely do you see that, if ever. So that's pretty interesting. So let's look at the scores from yesterday again. This is how it laid out. Crusaders 12, Wolfpack 22. So 10-point win for that, covering the spread. Kingston Lions took care of business against the Dolphins, so the 3 and the 4 advanced. That was a 3.5-point spread on that one. Again, the over-unders are pretty close on this one too, by the way. So the Kingston Lions Dolphins game was 33 points. Over-under was 28.5, so that's within a score. And the Wolfpack Crusaders game was 34, and at a 31.5. So come on now, the spread maker. Come on, man, give the spread maker some love on this one. So the NAFL scores: Militia 28-26. That obviously the 12.5 was way overblown. The TCLs just came to play. That's what it was. So that one didn't come close. But the Wolfpack New Jersey unit, look at that one. 32 on the total points, 31.5 on the over-under. You can't get any closer than that. Come on, people. You can't get any closer than that. 6.5 on the spread, and it's a 4-point win. Come on, you can't get closer than that. And again, as I said, Connecticut Falcons 16-12, and because of a 2-point that was returned the opposite way, you end up going from a 2-point game to a 4-point game. You're dancing around that spread. Come on, that would have made bad beats on ESPN. Come on now. Can't get closer than that. And then the over-under is 31.5, and they ended up with, was it 28? So not bad at all. Not bad at all. So I'm going to check the comments real quick. Cool. Actually, let me go back to this real quick, and then I'll go to the comments. We'll talk about it. Bleezy Sportsbook for June 7th. We have the Big East semifinal weekend. So now the 1 and the 2 come out and play. Green Wave open up as a 9.5-point favorite against the Kingston Lions. They're going to be at home. A lot of momentum. And the Kingston Lions had a week to kind of get themselves together. So we'll see how they play. So they played the Green Wave close the first time they played. That was in Kingston. And now it's playoffs. So I think 9.5 is a fair spread. So it's between, 2 scores and possibly a third score, And in these cases where you have playoff games at the end, sometimes something crazy happens, like as you saw this past weekend. And in the 3-2 game, this is going to be a goodie. Wolfpack head up to the New England Golden Lions. Golden Lions coming off that loss, that nasty taste in their mouth. Maybe they come back with a vengeance, and maybe they don't. I don't know. So it's a 4.5-point spread. So that's again 1 score, maybe a second score, 34.5 on the over/under. And in the NEAFL championship game, you have the Militia versus Unit. This should be a goodie. Unit opened up as a 2.5-point underdog, 41.5 on the spread. I was at 41.5 on the over/under. So let me check out the comments real quick, see where we is. What up, what up? Good morning, good morning. All right. There was a flag on the return. Oh. They did, bro. I don't think they kind of... Oh! Man, it would be awesome if they didn't count that final 2, please. Yes, both games this week in the NEAFL were elite. This has been an elite spring season. This has been an elite season. And I'm excited because we got LAL coming up. Looks like they're doing the AAA, AA thing, which is interesting. And that's going to be my little spot of the day. We're going to be chatting about it. Maybe Drewski, if Drewski's available. Drewski, let me know if you're available to come on with me. What else we got? Onside kick. Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. So let's bring... The NEAFL has their championship, so let me give you the rundown on what the experts think about that one, shall we? So it opens up as a 2.5-point Militia favorite. Definitely the feel that the expert definitely feels as though the unit will be much different than the first time that they played. Quarterback play of Tyreek Smith has been the main difference. The defense has also played extremely well. Both teams have stout defenses, elite receivers, solid run games. They can control the line and have smart QB play. My mind wants to say Militia, but something gives me a feeling that the unit might avenge their loss from the season. So, we have possibly an upset special. Now, again, I picked the Cardinals, not necessarily for the upset. I thought they were going to be in reach for the upset, but mostly for the... What's up, my guy?
What's up, dude?
How are you, sir? By the way, anybody who has that issue with the volume and they can't hear it, but the volume is good for everybody else, just flip your camera opposite way and then back to yourself, and then the volume goes up. I don't know why, but that's a little hint for the OGs that look all in comment and be like, huh? I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Shout out to Skip Jenkins, looking really old, trying to shout at the camera. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You like my jersey?
Yeah, it's a cool jersey right there. I'm glad it's not a Nick-hating jersey, so we're all good. I'll take any football jerseys today.
Yes, indeed. It's the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, but it's not the Indianapolis Pacers, so I'll let it pass. I don't got no beef with the Colts.
Yeah,
We're not gonna do
I,
something.
I was being a little bit of a Dickerson this morning, and I didn't have any Pacers stuff, so this is the
I'm
closest I could come
so
to.
happy to have a Pacers jersey for us today, Pat.
Oh.
Word, bro.
So what'd you
Yo,
think of what'd you think of the games yesterday?
yo, bro. Real good quality. I'm like I've been real Big East pumper this year. Pause. But I really got to commend the NEAFL because both of the underdog teams yesterday really made good games out of it. So I really look forward to that championship game coming up. In regards to the Big East side, shouts to the Wolfpack getting it done. Like they're boring as hell, bro. Like they're boring as Sean, don't get mad at me, bro. But they do that shit that you was talking about with the Bengals, where it's like they play defense and they fucking like pound the shit out the ball. Like
Yep.
they make
It's
it
the
nasty
it's
pause,
it's it's
So
it's a rope a dope. They rope a
yeah,
dope you for the
man.
whole game. Yeah, they definitely do.
And then the Lions, dude, they were looking dead, bro, a couple weeks ago, and they came back the past couple weeks and laid out some pow, let us know that they're still a viable like force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. So I was pleasantly surprised. Real good football. It's not pleasant. Let me not say surprised. I'm lying. I wasn't surprised because it's been consistent with the year. But yeah, bro, I was very happy about yesterday's football.
What I
Word.
also liked is that you didn't have any 8-0 games or 8-6 games. You had points, and guys were playing for their football lives. We make it dramatic, whatever. But you had points scored, you had drama back and forth, and our top dogs, the 1 seed and the 2 seed, were sitting. Now, real quick, rapid fire. Let's see if you can get it. Last year, name the final 4 teams in the den.
The final 4 teams in the den
Quick.
were Nose. I'm gonna say Nose Bengals. The team, the Canes, and the last team I can't remember on the quick fire right now.
Exactly my point. Well, exactly my point. So this is the time in which it's not just about the big dogs. We'll give the 1 seed their respect, and we've covered the Green Wave and we've covered the 2 seed, the Golden Lions at length. Both positive and negative. But when it comes down to it, I don't remember any year where it's been fair coverage and leveled coverage throughout the whole entire league. You can find something interesting about everybody, and that's what it's about. What's going to get teams to come back next year? And by the way, there was rumblings yesterday in that ECFL game. The Cardinals are kind of wishy-washy when it comes to this anyway because they've been talking about moving for years. But they said that they're Big East next year.
That would be fire.
And they said
Falcons
they're
too,
bringing.
bro. I want the Falcons too, bro.
They said they're bringing some folks with them. I don't see how the Falcons stay there if the Cardinals pull out.
Are not there.
Right. So now it would just be them and the Warhawks. So you never know. I mean, what was nasty work yesterday. And again, I'm going to be fair. I love the I do love the Cardinals, and in fact, I picked them to possibly score the upset yesterday. But the mismatched helmets in the championship game, mismatched helmets in general, are my pet peeve. But dog, come on.
So far into the game is crazy.
It is nuts.
What I will say, like to further just what you said about the Cardinals potentially coming over and the trickle that would have like going like down the line up there. Yo, bro, we didn't have no forfeits going up to Connecticut this year, bro. Everybody, even out. We didn't really have lower, but even bro, that game that the fucking Canes went out to New Britain and played, bro, was amazing, bro. Given all the circumstances and all the variables, So if we can maintain that and continue to move up north, I used to say, oh man, when you told me about these guys that are in Massachusetts, the Warhawks, I would say, oh man, that's too far though. I don't think it's too far anymore, bro.
There you go. There's a way.
Word, everybody's moving. That's good shit.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. Definitely a way to do it. And again, here's the funny thing. As I looked at those national rankings, we're sitting here without a AA. And again, it's politics. So everybody was talking about politics when it came to the picking of the players, the top 25. When it comes to who's AA and AAA, there is no measurable, objective way. It's just a couple dudes that don't see these things live that pick who's AA and AAA. It's absurd. There's just no way. And as I think to your point, it's the same players. It's the same players that we've seen in AAA leagues, but they're just spread out, and the football is more even keel. So instead of having 50-point blowouts and 60-point blowouts because the one team or two teams are stacked with all the talent, we end up with more enjoyable football instead of one or two powerhouse. But that does not turn it from a AAA to a AA. That's not what it is. So everybody that uses that AAA, AA talk, Skamala, I'm talking about you, Skamala, because he likes to throw that out there. Come on now, it's the same players minus, G Block. Oh, come on now, we see the same celebs.
We talking about AAA. I don't want to steal the show, but I got to throw a little Drewski singer. Big AAA, best team in the world, blah, blah, blah. Racine got shit and piss kicked out of them yesterday by the Ravens. They actually went to play a quality squad and got dog shit kicked out of them. And that's been the #1 AAA team for the last 5 years or whatever the fuck. Get out of here, dude.
Indeed. It's about the protecting of that undefeated record. It's not about the football. That's what it is. So when we're sitting here talking about what we want to see as fans, and by the way, I totally understand with as much free time as I've had this spring compared to years past not running a team, I can understand that everybody thinks that semi-pro football owners must be making money off this shit. Because I'm sitting here like, yo, I got a lot of fucking time. Damn, like life is like there's a lot of hours in the day. I never even realized it. But nonetheless, moving forward, this has been a very enjoyable season. And we're going into our LAL season where you have heavy hitters as well. Yeah, big dogs as well. What I'd like to see is those bottom teams and see which ones of them are that can compete or just a couple pieces away from being able to get it done.
Agreed.
Indeed. So yeah, Racine took a L, a nasty one too.
Nasty one.
They were at home on that one too. They got that.
I believe so.
So now, okay. So now keep your eye on Racine because once you take that first L, you took that L at home. Those road trips where you're wearing the cool gear and pulling up as the undefeated national champions, blah blah blah, it hits a little bit different when you got to get the job done as the #2 or #3 team in the area.
Especially for ego purposes, because that's all it really is. If they continue with the program as they've been running the program, if they're really as good as they showed to be, quote unquote, or their record showed them to be, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to bounce back from this. Because we can't minimize the fact that the Ravens have been one of the big teams throughout the past years also, and they've been talking big shit. They just got the opportunity to play against Racine before our guys got the opportunity to play against Racine or even play against them, But
right.
So let's see if Racine can bounce back.
Indeed.
Because the Ravens aren't a slouch.
So the game was in Detroit. Oh, that's a long ride home, boy. Woo-wee. Yeah, but man. In fact, I think there was a bald guy from New York talking about how Racine hasn't really traveled that much, and when I looked at their schedule, they were playing home an awful lot.
I think I was talking with that bald-headed guy. I was the other bald-headed guy because I remember a conversation like that too.
Indeed. And not to say, and again, not coming at Racine, but ultimately, when the ghost stories start to pile up about some of these teams, and you're like, wait a minute, the people that are talking about AAA versus AA, when you ask them, first thing you ask, because I know they're gonna try to argue and this and that and their feelings, et cetera, how many games have you physically been to in terms of different leagues? How many different leagues have you attended the games? And I'll tell you, me going out to that game in Reading with the Raptors and the Bullies, it definitely altered what I was thinking. And when you hear the ghost stories and the war stories, and when you hear these guys talk, and then you see it live, you're like,
it looks a little different live.
Looks a little different. It doesn't look terrible, but what you had in your mind about what it was settles down a bit. So again, you go out to Racine and you go on the field and you're like, wait a minute, these are regular semi-pro dudes that didn't make an NFL roster, didn't make a CFL roster, didn't make a regional roster, just like the same dudes that are around here that don't make NFL rosters, CFL rosters, and are playing for the fun of the game. Not much of a difference. There are teams that get it done better than others. Again, nobody's going to doubt that the Seminoles at this particular point are a much better team than most. But again, if you're that good, you're going to be playing professional.
I got an extra layer to add to that. I think their demographic and the landscape of where they live also has a large part to do with the presentation of the things they do. So it's like now you use the Raptors as a reference point, and it's like you look at what the Raptors have. They have great media, amazing media.
Amazing.
They got an amazing cut up guy like TYJ, whoever that guy is, top tier, bro. They make like damn near NFL films quality cut ups and highlights that, like, on top of having nice jerseys. So you got a nice jersey, you got fucking camera people that know how to do what they do, and you got a nice field because of where you are. So now you're in Reading, Pennsylvania. So the
Sponsors.
yeah, bro, sponsors, because you're in a small town. So it's like all of those things tend to lend and contribute, I feel like, to the presentation of a team. The most recent good team, well, the most recent team I can remember, period, that was like that was the Mountaineers. Amazing jerseys, great field. Yep. They just didn't win. But visually, it's like, wow. The last team I remember from my era that was like that was the old CT Militia. They had sponsors, they had the field, they had great jerseys. But then after the allure of all that, and you actually pull up and go play against them, and even before the game, bro, what you said as a player, you see, say, yo, bro, this look. I know, unless this dude is fucking Jeff Saturday, just the 200-pound version, there's no way he's blocking me. And it was that. He wasn't fucking Saturday. He was fucking a guy.
And by the way, that militia team, no knock on the militia team, big shout to those guys. But for the guys that were down in New York, that were hearing the war stories, that were seeing the cannons shooting out, you would think it was an NFL team. And they were competing in single A.
Yeah, bro.
And they were competing, and then they were competing in double A. I'm not sure if they ever even competed in triple A.
They made it they made it to the not to the to the MLF, bro.
Right. So I think they went from double A to double A NEFL to MLF, and then ended up being a 500 team.
Yeah, we beat, not even, I don't think. I think they were less than 500. We beat dog shit out of them. Everybody wanted them.
Right. So then you're looking at it like, okay, are you still going to shoot those cannons off when you're a 4-16? Are you still going to sit there and do the announcements at the mall and the autograph signings at the local restaurant if you're a 4-16? Now, here's the thing. The culture of semi-pro doesn't allow you to do that, because your mentality is, I got to be the best, or I should pack it up. Right?
For sure.
But with this culture that is starting to shift, where it's not just about the champs, shout out to the champs, not just about the team that goes undefeated into the Nationals, to actually show some love to a Crusaders team who played some good football this year. They
fought back, bro. They had a lot of trials and tribulations, bro. They fought back.
Indeed. A Hurricane team that we like to watch, a Dolphins team which we love to watch. To me, that's the fun. And again, it may not be fun for everybody. That's just what I like, and that's what I like to cover. and if I have the floor, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give the 1 seed and the 2 seed their dues. Again, who's your MVP in the Big East this year?
Kevin Pear. Shouts to Kevin Pear on the stake. We could dive into the reasons. I'll tell you the reasons too. You look at the landscape, look at the teams. Who was the player? Who was the addition? Who was the single biggest difference maker? So now I look at a team like the Green Wave. They got the #1 seed. Other players on that team that are like high level MVP candidates, I would say it's probably like Sadiq, Noble, Errol. But so for the Sadiq and Noble, it's like they've been there. So it's like no disrespect, because they both killed this year, you feel me? And they both highly ranked players, rightfully so. But the only, like, not the only difference, but the noticeable difference I see would be Kevin and Toon. And then out of the two on the, like, just the overall, I give the edge on the 2 to Kevin. So I would vote for Kevin to be my MVP because he came in and changed the dynamic. Because without him, who's the running back? What's the running back stats looking like? How much of a, you know what I mean? Like how much of a difference maker was he this year? And again, I
Right.
might be a little biased,
A
but
little
I don't
bit.
think I'm biased in this.
A little bit.
He got me my steak, bro. That's it. I'm
Yeah,
sitting
man.
on that 2 pause. Yeah, we gonna figure that out. Nice little summertime
Yeah.
shindig. You heard?
Yes, indeed. That's gonna
For
be
sure.
fun. That's gonna be fun. Totally
Yes,
worth it,
sir.
man. Totally
For
worth it.
sure. We
So
can get another one going for the summer too, pal. I want to just leave you out there. We'll figure out another one for the
yeah, we'll
summer
get
and
it
we
cooking.
can. All
Absolutely.
right.
So my MVP, and I said this
Who's
on
yours?
Randy
Sorry.
on Randy's lineman show this week. My MVP is Noble. He has delivered every bit of his talk.
Mhm.
And when I tell you, and I made this comment before they got into the lovey-dovey stuff, where all the linemen were telling all the linemen that they're all great, and nobody wanted to rank who was better than who because it's a big love fest. But whatever, I digress. So my player MVP is Noble. I've seen him cover toss. I've seen him cover outside zone. I've seen him cover off tackle. I've seen him cover dive to his side. I've seen him cover dive to the opposite side. Like
Super valid.
within 2 yards. That right there, and that's why I'm asking the question. I'm like, who could block this guy? And of course, some guys like in respect, Skamal always wants
Mhm.
to. He wants to compete
Mhm.
always. I
Always.
love that. However, let's just talk real quick. How are you going to be able to have the speed? And that's why I talked about footwork. How are you going to get enough speed and steps and anticipation to be able to get your hands on somebody who literally that's 5 gaps.
Mhm.
That's 5 different options
Mhm.
with speed and has done it effectively. So that's my MVP for the Big East this year. For the ECFL, I don't think there's any question on who the ECFL MVP is. Did you see Malik Williams' performance yesterday?
I did not, unfortunately.
Man, he had a
But if it's on YouTube, I'm gonna watch it though.
man. Big shout out to you. Talk about media guys. Tez TV, Eric Tesaro. He goes to game, and by the way, he just shows up for games. I've tried to give him money. I've tried to give him stuff, whatever like that. He's just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just hanging out today, whatever, whatever. Like he's that dude. Love that guy. And uh, does the commentary over top, which doesn't really detract from what the game is doing. And he is absolute good money. He covered the championship game yesterday, among others that did because it's a championship game. But Malik Williamson had a touchdown catch, and then he had the return, the 2-point interception return for a touchdown that sealed the game. They were
14-12.
the Cardinals were
Yeah.
going for the tie, and then he fucked up my spread because it was 2 and the spread was 2.5. He made it a 4-point game from the 2-point game, but that dude really showed out. So it kind of we kind of set ourselves up. We got so here's the question, especially with Racine losing, right? When we start to talk about the Nationals picture, are we excluding Racine?
All right, if we're being fair, one loss, one loss against Detroit definitely has to drop them, but it's probably not going to drop them out of the like top 5, top 6 range. But now with a team like Detroit, if they stay undefeated, and the Noles I think are ranked 2 in that ranking, if the Noles stay undefeated, then what's that going to do to the rankings? You understand what I'm saying?
Now,
They can't ever go above 3. And then if we consider the other 3A leagues, I'm sure there's going to be other undefeated champions that are going to stake their claim for why they should be ahead of them too.
yeah.
So
if the Knowles lose so if the Knowles don't have a clean sheet, right? And this is the problem that I have, and I'm gonna go on my soapbox. We're gonna end in another 6 to 10 minutes, but I'm gonna go on my soapbox real quick. If the end game is getting an undefeated national champion every single year, you're not getting the best team in the land. You can't be, because you're that's the reason why teams have been hiding out in these leagues, even if they're a AAA team or whatever. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The Den without the Knowles is in a AAA team last year. Is a AAA league last year.
Last year, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. If we say yes, then there's no way we could call the football we got now 2A, because there's no difference. The only one not playing for real is G Block, bro. So it's like, if everybody's still playing, shouts to like Jeff Campbell yesterday was wild.
Yes.
If everybody's still
Everybody's
playing,
still playing.
it's like, what makes it, like, to your point, what makes it 2A and 3A? The nose not being around. So it's like, and again, I'll give them all that credit because they deserve their credit. But if without the nose, we call it then AAA, we got to make sure we call the NEAFL AAA and the Big East AAA.
There you go.
Because it's the same crop of players. All we did was,
It definitely is.
it's basically, and not even, no, it's not even that, because, bruh, the only New York team in there was the Nose and the Eagles. We had the Eagles aren't around this year to be an option either. So it's like,
and some of them move towards other teams and such.
And then also to that argument, a lot of the nose guys, a lot of the big hitters went to the Green Wave. Not a lot. I don't mean literally, Kareem. I don't want no beef, bro. Pause. But I'm saying, like, if you look at the Green Wave squad with the addition of Juan Louis also, how are they not a 3A squad? I would want to watch them against Racine. Give me the fully loaded Green Wave right now against that shit I saw yesterday. I would bet on the Green Wave. So it's like, what we talking about?
What we talking about?
We're running semantics. We are, bro. I'm seeing that shit more and more, bro.
Indeed. That's I don't think that's such so much of a hot take. Green Wave versus Racine. What's the spread on that?
I got Green Wave by like +6. They're gonna get them by a tut, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Green Wave will beat them niggas by at least a tut, bro. They don't got no DBs. Who's gonna guard Eru and Sadiq, bro? Green Wave got an O-line, bro. Juan Louis could throw that thing. Even now, Juan Louis, shouts to Chris, because I'm not going to violate Chris. Chris right now, playing a whole season with the Green Wave, against that shit I saw with Racine, I think the Green Wave will beat them niggas. And I don't care what nobody say. We could talk about it.
Indeed.
But for sure. Yeah, bro.
There you go. So I think we're finding out this AA, AAA thing is not what people think it is. And that's why, shout out to I-95, by the way. The bowl series coming up soon. You know, check it with Kev at East Coast Locker Room because they're working on some stuff. And the start of it is ranking the teams AAA, AA, not based on league. So you can't tag along and be AAA. And if you're AAA, you got to maintain your work and you have to have your resume together and not just, you know, cupcake it out. I respect that because ultimately, again, there's a lot of dragging in terms of like when you look at the scores, like how is this team national champions for 8 straight years? Who have they played? And then when you look, they're playing the same, you know, 4 teams.
Yeah, and those teams are all fucking finishing with 3 and 6 records, and those same 3 teams always got to come to their house and all this extra nonsense. Somebody in the comments, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott Raidmaker. He's talking about the need for crossover league games.
Yeah,
we agree, Scott. But in regards to that, it's more about the player pool, bro. The player pool doesn't switch. The player pool didn't switch this year. Only the demographics shifted a bit. And all that happened was the Jersey side league went a little further into the south and dove a little further into Jersey, and the New York dominant league went further into the north. So if anything, we're only further establishing the landscape and solidifying the landscape, you know.
And like, with that, how many conversations were had about double duty this year?
Not very many at all. I didn't hear any double duty shit at all, honestly. I didn't remember talking about double duty at all.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. We eliminated. Let's say we. Let me not say we because I'm just the one that talks about it. So let me take
but even that, me knowing the players, I know the players, I can't think of one dude that played on 2 teams this spring off the top of my head.
Everybody was locked in to whatever they was doing.
Whatever they were doing. Yeah.
No talk about it. No conversation about it. Nothing. What up, Detroit Smooth? Players Association checking in. Appreciate y'all. True story. Like in the past at least 5 years.
Sorry, Papa.
One of the most talked about nonsense that we would argue about for forever was double duty. Now, Billy says, and also no one allowed it. I don't think anybody said it. It wasn't a matter of being allowed or not. I don't think any league had a rule against it. I know ECFL has never had a double. Yeah, no, ECFL never had a double duty rule. Big East, never had a double duty rule. NEAFL, I don't think either. So nobody had the rule. It was just that the league owners respected each other and maintained their boundaries, right? So, as you said, Big East was New York, crept up a little bit into Connecticut. The ECFL, those who messed with the ECFL in Connecticut stayed in Connecticut. And even like the Falcons, the ones that are on like the border, so to speak, which would be Falcons and Golden Lions, I really want to see that game happen, by the way.
Hell
I know they were working on that'd be a dope game. The Falcons and the Golden Lions worked it out, and again, I haven't seen the roster to see if anybody's playing on both teams, but whatever it was, it wasn't a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree.
yeah, so we ended up eliminating a lot of the bullshit arguments that we end up having. We spoke more about football this year than any other year.
Facts. And we didn't have very many forfeits, bro. The only team that I could call Big East side is unfortunately the Black Panthers. And now on the NEFL side, they might have had one team also, bro. And most of the game, like 90% of the games in both leagues got played.
Yep. And the headline was football.
Games yesterday, four solid games yesterday. Super solid. The Final Four for them was worthy of a Final Four. And the first four for us, not us and them, but for that league and for this league, the first four for this league gave us two really good games, bro. Not blowouts, scores, solid competition. So it's like,
Yeah, we didn't see no 50 pieces. First round, we've always seen 50 pieces. In all of the playoffs this year, we didn't see any 50 pieces. I don't think we even saw 40 pieces.
And then now we're going to have Lions versus Green Wave. That's going to be a good matchup. My young boy said that they're not playing with them this time, that they're going to try to beat the shit out of them. I hope so. But
there you go.
I also think the Lions are coming with everything they got the same way they've been doing the last couple weeks. Remember that last game they played was like a 2-point game or something, or a one-score game or something?
Yep, they were up with a minute and a half left, and the Green Wave got themselves together, maintained composure, the long bomb to Sadiq, and yeah, it was a chess match. It really was.
And then we got Golden Lions versus Wolfpack. And we just finished saying, like, out of the 14, well, I didn't say exactly this, so I'll say it now. Out of the 4 remaining teams, the Wolfpack are like, the most nasty, like the team you probably don't want to play against in this format to go to the championship the most is the Wolfpack. Because if they bring their playing style and force their playing style on you in any way, you're going to slip out of your playing style, and that probably is not going to go good for you. So I think that's going to be a relatively close, if not really close game.
And they've been playoff
say
tested.
That, Daryl. Daryl said 1-point game. All right.
1 point.
That's going to be a real good game.
Indeed. Yeah. So the Wolfpack have been playoff tested. The Kingston Lions have had their ups and downs, so they've been on the rocks. The only team, all 4 teams have had to face adversity. Let me say it that way. Because of course nobody wants to admit that they were on the ropes or had them scared or shook because ego won't allow you. So all 4 teams had some type of adversity during the course of the year. And when it comes to crunch time, and like my man Coach Black says, the teams that have been there before in terms of being down or, having some type of adversity, they usually are able to get it together come playoff time. So who's your picks for the playoffs? Let me run the spreads to you real quick.
You can run the spreads, but they have no bearing on my picks. I already know my picks.
Okay. So we got 3 games on the docket. So by the way, big shout out ECFL because their championship game was worthy of being a championship game coming down to the last minute of the game. Appreciate that. Big shout out to the Falcons and the Cardinals for playing a great game and no bullshit afterwards, which again, another story that usually happens during the course of a semi-pro year is fights and this and that. And that's been a minimum thing, not totally absent. We had some WWE action and some parking lot action this year, but it hasn't, again, been the overwhelming story from week to week. So in the Big East semifinals, Kingston Lions open up as a 9.5 point underdog to the Wave. 41.5 is the over-under.
I think the score won't go to 41.5 just because I feel like the Wave are going to come out and semi-dominate the game. I think it'll end up being like 20-8 game, 20-6 game, just because of Noble, like you said, not exclusively Noble, but that defense anchored by Noble. It's like you got Noble, Enrique, and fucking Gerard, bro. Like all them dudes top 25. That's the starting front three right there. So it's like the best play on the Lions is the running back, followed by the do-everything quarterback.
Right.
But the do-everything's quarterback strength isn't throwing the ball for real. And all that scramble with them fucking beasts they got in the front line, that's not going to work out too well. And the same thing, I know they got a gasher running back. I know he's the goods. I know he's elite. But the Kingston Lions front paws can't deal with the defensive front of the Green Wave. So I got that being... They're still good enough. They're going to score, and their defense is good enough where they're not going to just get blown out, I don't think. But...
You know what my stat of the game is going to be? You're never going to
I'm being biased, Chop. Oh, my God.
Yo, Chop got him so bad he signed out. That's crazy. So my stat of the day for that game, you're never going to believe this. But trust me on this one. The stat of that game is going to be punts for the Golden Lions. If the Golden Lions start panicking and start going forward every fourth down, you're going to see the game get out of hand. And that's when it says unable to add, but it's saying it's adding. Okay, cool. You're going to see if the Kingston Lions are composed or not. If they lose their composure and start playing Madden football where they're going forward on every fourth down, it's going to unravel, and they're going to end up getting beat. So Drewski says it's adding, so maybe it's going to take a second. Maybe you're in the zone. I don't know. In the next game, you got Wolfpack and Golden Lions. 4.5 point favorite is Golden Lions. Let me try it again. I'm going to try to add you again. All right. Chop got you so mad you signed out?
Chop throwing smut on my name. I was trying to comment on him, and I got retard fingers, so I pressed the X by accident or something. I don't know what I did. But Chop, stop that. I'm not biased, bro. How I'm biased? Who am I being biased towards now, bro? Chop love fucking with me.
Yes.
They're like, I'll just fuck with you, Drewski. He's good. You know that. But word though, bro. I think the only question I have, I'm sorry, when I got cut off, is did they allow the Lions kicker to play the playoffs, or is he out of it? That's
no. Yeah, because he didn't admit. So here's the rule. Let me not say he's not allowed to play. I've heard that he is not allowed to play. Let me just tell you what the rule is. The rule is there are video check-ins, and you got to show that you have 4 check-ins. Now, the Kingston Lions have said this guy has been in college or doing whatever it was he was doing during the course of the year, whatever it is. You could have been in the Peace Corps. You could have been given, like, food to, like, Somalian refugees. It doesn't matter. If you weren't in for 4 check-ins and your ass is not on the video 4 times, pause, you are not playing in the playoffs. So that's the rule. There's no medical exemptions because you can be in a body cast. If you're on the sideline, you got your jersey on and you're in a body cast, that's what it is. And then you got to check in 4 times. He can only play if team agrees. Oh, I hate that. Oh, Dario, please tell me you didn't say that. Okay, let me just tell you what I hate. I hate it when the leagues put on exceptions to the rule, or they don't. Let me not say exceptions to the rule because the rule is there. I hate it when leagues allow teams to do side deals or deals that break the rules. So, like, if a team agrees he could play, no. The rule is you got to be at 4 check-ins. You see him on video 4 times, he plays. He did not have 4 games, but if the team agrees, per the bylaws. Okay, so Daryl, I'm going to say you have to show me in those bylaws where it says that this is the rule except for if a team agrees, because I don't believe that makes any sense whatsoever. We have rules unless the teams agree not to follow the rules. And that's a dangerous thing for semi-pro football because not all owners are the most honorable of people from my experience. 100%. It's in there. You got to show me that. That's crazy. I know when I wrote the bylaws, it was not in there. It definitely was not in there. Because here's the thing, right?
Noble said he not playing. You heard, bro? He said he not playing.
He ain't playing. And by the way, when you think about the reason for the rule is you want the same teams that you've seen through the year to be playing in the playoffs. You want to see the same team. You don't want to see a different team. And by the way, this caused the downfall of the TFL, by the way. When it came to deal making and, hey, talk to each other, work it out, it's bad. Now we packing up the kicker who push up.
Why the fuck you gonna let Adam Vinatieri play so he could fucking kick 6 field goals and you lose by a point and be pissed off because you let him play? Fuck that. He wasn't in the league. He ain't playing. I'm sorry. Ain't no nice guy shit.
Yeah. And then to make it worse, then what happens is with a lot of owners. And again, I'm not talking about anybody specific, but I've seen this like so many times over the last 20 years, is that once you allow an owner an exception, then the owner that gave up the exception is expecting something in return outside of the rules.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. You owe
robbery, Pat.
Yeah, and that's a very dangerous zone to be in. You don't. And then here's the other thing. Now, if I am another team that's not involved in this transaction between these two teams, then I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, why are they allowed to do it? Because it turns into nonsense. So I'm gonna check it out. Dario says that he has sent it to me, and I see that he sent me something. Let me see. Did he email it to me or text it to me? This is interesting. Got it. So who do you have while I'm looking up Daryl's claim about these bylaws? What's your analysis of this other semifinal game? Wolfpack Golden Lions Golden Lions are 4.5-point favorite over the Wolfpack, 34.5 on the spread.
That's a good spread. I think it's going to be a close game. They're playing at CT, so they're gonna play on that nice field. I think that puts the Wolfpack at a potential advantage. So if there's an upset to be had this weekend, I think the Wolfpack will be the ones to do it. I don't believe they're going to though, but I think it'll be a good game just with what the Wolfpack are bringing. Especially like what's the deal with DeJory? I don't know what the latest with that is, but is DeJory allowed to play this year? If he is still allowed to play this year, I know he played enough games. So if he's on the Wolfpack, I think that's a major thing.
Yeah, I do not know what's up with that. I know he cost me a steak this year, so I'm tight about that.
Sorry about that, dude. But yeah, I think if all things stand as they are, and the jury isn't there, and even if he is there, but he gives them a better chance. I think the Golden Lions will probably win that game, something like 21 or 20-12 or something.
Oh, so while you were angry with your fingers paused with Harvey, I said that the big stat that you're going to have to check out is punts. So if the Kingston Lions just start going for it on 4th down and panicking, it's going to be bad business. You got to play the field position game against the Green Wave.
Sure. I don't think even with all they got with their strengths, I think their strengths get nullified by what the Green Wave have. So I don't honestly see it being close, bro. I think that game is gonna be like either like a 20-8 or like a 28-8 or like something like that. I heard rumblings. The quarterback might be coming back this week just so he can warm up for a potential championship game showdown with whoever they got to play if they make it. So with that addition also, no offense to Chris, I would take Juan Louis over Chris though. So if you add in Juan Louis also, and they're going to be trying to get him reacclimated into the system and etc. Shit like that. So now it might not be as friendly as all right, we up 2 tugs. Let's start to run more and let's start to eat the clock up. It might be all right. Let's make sure Juan is good. Like, you know, like if Kev scores the first touchdown or 2 touchdowns, you think Juan's gonna play the game and not throw a couple touchdowns? I think you understand what I'm saying? So I think that game is gonna get potentially ugly.
Ooh.
Just because they're gonna be working out extra kinks for a potential rematch against the Golden Lions.
Interesting.
I know everybody say, "Oh, Golden Lions trash" from the Green Wave side, but that scoreboard don't indicate that game was a bad game at all and that they're trash at all. So I think they want to come with a fully loaded deck. Chris did a great job this year. Holding it down while Juan was hurt. But if Juan is ready and he plays in this game, I feel like they're gonna bombs over Baghdad and like really try to get Juan feeling good leading into the championship showdown.
So
because I feel like
So if Juan comes into your office and says, "Hey, I'm ready to go," so who's your starter this week?
If Juan's ready to go, you gotta put Juan in the game, bro. Only because, look, bro, I'm not gonna give him G block clout. You feel me? That would be crazy. But like what Juan has shown throughout the last 2 seasons leading up into the injury this year is enough for me to rate him amongst the best of the best, period. So like with the quarterback rankings coming out now, I feel like off of what Juan has done, Juan will fuck around and crack the top 10 this year, bro. So let's call him a top 10 national quarterback at this point. Ain't no way I'm not starting my top 10 national quarterback, bro. You understand? Like there's only a couple guys on this side of town, period, that it would even be a debate about. And not even unfortunately, God bless Chris, but Chris is not one of the guys I'm having that debate about. So if Juan's ready, Juan's playing. Because that 14-12 against the Golden Lions in the regular season is too close for comfort for me. If I'm the Green Wave, you can say whatever, blah blah blah. But that
no, I'm not saying blah blah blah. But
I'm talking about them. I'm talking about them. I'm talking about the Green Wave.
But I will.
They can say whatever they want.
I will say there's something about having the hot hand and going with rhythm.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. Now again, I'm not saying anything about your logic. What you're saying is completely logical. I agree 100%. It's just if and maybe this is too conservative. You can tell me, Pat, you're being a punk, way too conservative. If something goes wrong, right, and it goes wrong with the dude that has been the captain of your ship for the last 6 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it's been, right?
Ooh,
if something goes
after Pat, talk you
if something goes wrong with that dude, it kind of is what it is. There might be a few paranoid grumblings like, "Oh, we should have had Juan Louis in there." But if you switch up and it goes wrong based on timing, I think you catch a lot of flack for that. No?
Yeah, but to further enhance my statement, Big Baby went so far as to say Juan is the best QB in the town, period, including G Block right now. And Billy Chop doubled down and said, "Preach," with red exclamation points, and he don't like red exclamation points.
Woo!
So the young boys, that's what I'm saying, Pat.
Woo!
The changing of the guard is really happening, like in my eyes anyway, bro. Like to the point now where it's like, yo, bro, dudes might really got to choose between the Bears and the Seminoles, bro. Because now it's like, yeah, you got G Block on the nose, bro. But if you really build in with Juan, and Juan is 20-something years old, and you 20-something years old, that's like the Rebel situation almost. You feel me? Why wouldn't you want to ride with your guys so y'all can have y'all run together as opposed to whatever? You feel me? But to the point where we're talking about, not to get lost in that, I'm sorry, I almost went too far to the left with that. But the dudes, especially the 20-somethings, all rate Juan on a pedestal even higher than us, bro. So if Juan is ready, thank you, Chris. But Jeff Hostetler, Phil Simms, bro, you putting Phil Simms in the game, baby.
Hostetler won the Super Bowl.
I understand that, but when Phil was ready, what happened? Hostetler went to the Raiders, baby. That's it.
I mean,
God bless him.
The Raiders are.
Chris did what he had to do. Look, Chris did what he had to do to re-solidify himself, and now like going into the summer or going into next spring, yeah, bro, Chris, we need a quarterback. See what Chris is doing. But Juan elevated himself past that status, now into the status of the elite amongst the whole country, bro. So it's like, yeah, I'm picking Juan every time, bro. With no knock to Chris, because I'm going to leave Chris alone, because Chris really showed out this year, and too many niggas talk shit about Chris, and Chris is not whack, bro. Chris better than a lot of dudes. So with that being said, I'm still picking Juan, though, bro. Juan is dead-ass top 10, fucking around be top 5 this year, bro. He won 2 rings, bro. Bro, look at the 2 rings he won, bro.
The dude is absolutely shit. 100%. He's my number 2 in the area, hands down. Absolutely. So let's go to the NFL championship. Militia unit open up as a 2.5 point underdog. 41.5 on the over under. This is what the experts say. They definitely feel that the unit will be much different than the first time around when the two teams played. Quarterback play of Tyreek Smith has been the main difference. The defense has also played extremely well. Both teams have stout defenses, elite receivers, solid run games, and can control the line and smart quarterback play, which is pivotal on this level. My mind says militia, but something is giving me a feeling that the unit might avenge their loss from earlier this season. What do you think?
I feel like for no reason other than the vast majority of the guys on the unit side have shown that they find ways to lose, bro. Like, they got a real good squad, bro. But, like, all them dudes, bro, when it comes to, like, championship games and all that, bro, or playoff records, or, like, losing games that are supposed to be wins and you get upset in the semis. Like, they got a bunch of guys like that, bro. No offense, but it's like Nadir, Butler, fucking, you talking about Tyreek. You mean the same Tyreek from the Red Raiders? That Tyreek, bro, he played like shit, bro. So he might be on that, bro. He might have a hot hand, bro. He's not total dirt. He's having a good year clearly because dude is saying MVP Reek, blah blah blah. But I literally remember last den season, as recently as last den season, dude's kicking his shit in, bro. So now all of a sudden he's a really good quarterback because he's your quarterback. Y'all had jokes about that man. His skill set is still his skill set. Reek plays like fish, bro. He throws a bit better. He's probably not quite as athletic, but he's a QB that plays like fish, bro. So now Fish can have a great year, and Fish has proven to be a really good quarterback at times. But that's the same type of guy that Reek is. And now Reek is the guy because he's the unit guy and blah, blah, blah. I'm not buying it, bro. They might win. They can talk big shit about it if they do win. God bless them, bro. But just off honestly, that alone, bro, me knowing that they got dudes on the other side.
But you're saying they got a lot of bridesmaids.
Yeah, bro. And then on the malicious side, they got the hard-nosed dudes. They got Lance in them over there. I take Lance on my team. And I'm not betting yo, bro. Here y'all go, bro. I don't know, yo, Rady, I don't know you, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. God bless you, though, Papi. We're not about to bet nothing. Niggas be ass betting. Good luck. I'm sorry, bro. Bet 500. I'm sorry. I don't think y'all gonna win, bro. Y'all niggas be losing, bro. My bad. I didn't say losers. Y'all niggas be losing, though. And Face is my man, bro. So it's not a shot, bro. But talking football, I think that the militia got a more solid, like, playoff ready team that's not gonna fold under pressure than the unit do.
Okay, indeed.
That's
something we look for. What kind of football that is? That's awesome. So let me finish with this question. We talked about some of our interesting matchups or whatever. Give me unit. So Racine versus Green Wave. You got Green Wave
for sure.
Cool. So how about is more intriguing? Unit versus Golden Lions.
Unit Golden Lions.
That's a good one, ain't it?
Legit, yeah, because they legit the same type of team, bro.
Yes, indeed.
The same exact type of team, bro. Super solid squad, position-wise, overall. And they got a quarterback that's hot and cold. He's really good when he's hot. He's like shit when he's cold. Same exact. Tyreek is fucking Larry Garcia, bro. Perfect. Thank you for that, Pat. Perfect alley-oop. Jason.
There you go. Wow, there you go.
Yeah, bro. But that's like a pick 'em for me, bro. Because I view them as the same type of team. And if I had to really pick them, I would even probably go Golden Lions, because the Golden Lions aren't like braggadocious and X, Y, and Z like the unit are. So the unit might fall victim to thinking they're better than the Golden Lions for the game that's played. I don't think the Golden Lions would fall victim to that against a team like the unit. I think Larry, yeah, bro. So it's a pick 'em. But if I had to pick with a gun to my head, God forbid, I'm picking the Golden Lions.
All right. So I'm gonna give you one more, right? So we end up with let's go over to that Wolfpack team from the Big East, Spence's team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me Wolfpack versus Owls.
Wolfpack versus Owls. That's another good ass.
I guess.
Yeah, bro.
We're
gonna call it. We're gonna call it neutral site, just because they're both so far from each other, and if it's a home, that'll give either team an advantage. But if they play like, let's say, in fucking, I don't know, Newark, New Jersey, or in Manhattan, right through the tunnel in Manhattan, I would.
Yeah, that like in Weehawken, like I feel right by the Lincoln Cell, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's like the Savvy Veteran Bowl.
Yeah, bro. But
there we go.
Damn, bro. All right, with the jury, they're gonna win. If you got the jury, Ty Lopez, and then you got a solid pass game with Grizzle and fucking Jaden and all that good stuff, I'm gonna go Wolfpack. But if it's without the jury and it's just like what they had yesterday, I'll give the slightest edge to the Owls. The slightest. But the Owls look like shit too. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Fuck hell no. I don't want to. Nah, but I don't want this to be Big East bias. Oh, you biased to the Big East. Nah, bro. But I feel like if any of the two games you just unlisted were to be a win for the not Big East side, I would say the unit would have a better chance of beating the Golden Lions, bro. But like, yeah, bro, that Wolfpack team's a pain in the ass, especially for like the middle tier teams, bro. So it's like, I view the Owls as a middle tier team. I know they made the Final Four, but you are your record also. We're not gonna make believe you're not your record, So they had the record they had, and they didn't really like beat any really good teams, bro. Like they won against who they had to beat. And then I heard a lot of the rumblings I did hear from the NEAFL side this year were surrounding stuff with Pity and dudes not being happy with Pity doing X, Y, or Z. I didn't dive deep enough to know exactly what Pity was supposedly doing, but it's like
Yeah, he's usually the same person to complain about. Yeah, because he ain't gonna get too mad at you. He ain't gonna like go off on you or nothing like that. So that's the safe one. It definitely is. So to answer Harvey Dent's question. Harvey Dent, are we doing champ versus champ at the end of the season? That's a good question. I think the answer, again, I don't know for a fact, but I think the answer is what it always is, which is if team owners want to play, there will be opportunity to play. There will be bowl games, there'll be regional games, there'll be everything where you can find football to play. And the best example was the New York Bandits last year when they went through and finished as champions in the EFA. They were challenging everybody. And a lot of them, they were picking up the phone and calling some folks, and folks didn't want to do it. So they had to go all the way down to, was it South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever the hell they went to play a game because the teams up here didn't want to play, and they didn't have the minimum amount of games to qualify for the Sunshine Bowl. So they go all the way down to North Carolina, whatever it was, to play in the Dirty Bowl because dudes up here didn't want no parts. So it's it ends up being the same thing, which is if the owners that won, if they want to play, they'll play. That's what it is. Indeed. So
hopefully that does happen, man.
Indeed. And that's why all the in fact, I would even venture to say, and I'll wrap it up with this. As we kept saying, has been the theme from the beginning of the show, which is the best part about this season is from top to bottom, there's been something to talk about. There's been some type of highlight that you could point to and be interested just as a fan of the game, right? So with that being said, I think there was a lot less of course there was trolling, and as I'm saying that, we're talking about haircuts for people in the comments. There's been a fair amount of trolling, but there's not been any team really, even the teams that like folded or tapped out of games that have been bullied to the point like they have been in the past where they wouldn't want to bring the car out the garage for an extra game at the end. We had a game yesterday. The Bruins actually beat the Chargers 12-0 in the Zenith Bowl. Two teams that did not have good records. Let's call it what it is. But they played. They had fun, and nobody was sitting there, ridiculing them for doing it or whatever. We didn't give it a bunch of play because it is what it is. We were focused on the championship. But I think just as I brought up some of those matchups and the Sean Spencers of the world who've been about winter tournaments and playing, after the season is done and such, I think the landscape right now is better for that type of action. So we definitely have to check out when the LAL season officially starts, because then you get into the players being healthy for that. How many weeks do you actually have? But I know the Sunshine Bowl is usually the second week of July. So if there's a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a break, I know ECFL usually starts earlier because they try to be spiteful of the spring, but LAL usually starts a little bit later. EFA starts a little bit later. So can we get 2 or 3 weeks of some matchups like I spoke about? We possibly could.
That would be fire. Hopefully.
Indeed. So let me check out the comments. I'll answer real quick. But thank you for hanging out with us today, Drewski. We doing the 2 Hefes, you and Steph, this week?
Sure, we're going to do that probably Tuesday. I'm going to get up with Hef just now.
Sounds
good. Though, Pat. I'm at this gym. Have a good one,
my man. Later. So yeah, that's it. So we're getting last weekend of July is the gotcha. Complexion or balding, gotcha. I can use a haircut. Yeah, I get it. Just kidding. Hairline is going back. First years, yeah, it's okay. Beautiful. All right. So let's have another awesome weekend. And again, the big dogs come out for this week. Can't wait to see the Green Wave game. Can't wait to see the New England Golden Lions game. Back at it. Semifinals of the championship action for NAFL. And then we're into the summer. So, all right, y'all, enjoy your day. Oh, big shout out to Kadeem. Kadeem, I did my push-ups. Don't try no BS and say I didn't do them, because I did them. Shout out to Anthony and Cecilia for the takeover in the beginning. Big shout out to the Pacers. I don't have a Pacers jersey, but Indianapolis Colts will do. Knicks in 8. Holla!